Happy Wednesday. Yes, my friends, it is Wednesday. You know what that means? It's One Loft Wednesday, and I'm not the One Loft specialist. Have I won a few One Loft races? Yeah. Have I raced a few One Loft races? Yeah. Have I ran a few? Yeah. Have I even ran them into the ground? Absolutely. I've done it all. And that's okay, guys. That's why I'm here, okay? But you're not here because of just me. No, you're here because you want to speak to a guy that's been doing this. He's done it so long. He's actually the original, like one of the pioneers of this. Okay, he's the problem. One of the problems why he's so big in the world because he does a great job every year. Uh, he gets pigeons to the end. He gets pigeons that finish his race that go on to do super things in the breeding loft for especially other one loft races throughout not only the United States, not only Canada, but the entire world. He is known as John Timmerman. He runs the California Classic and he runs the Royal Cup. He's been doing it for so long. We are going to bring him on. But before I do, please like, share, and subscribe. Please participate. And participation means some questions. Helps us out, makes the show go by just that little bit quicker. So, guys, we're going to start this in about 3 seconds. I'll see you there, guys. Alrighty, here we go. In 10 seconds. I will introduce you to Johnny C. You know him. Get your questions and comments in. Here we go. Good evening, John. The music just ended, and hell, let the show begin. Happy Wednesday, my friend. How are you?
I'm doing well, buddy. How are you doing?
It's another day. It's Wednesday. We're in the middle of the week, and yeah, another week. The weeks seem to fly by. I mean, literally, they just it feels like yesterday I was talking to you.
Oh, it goes fast, man. It goes fast. So how was you celebrate your win?
You know what? You celebrate a win, and I tell you, you work your bag off to get a win, and then you come back at it and you say, "Okay, we're going to go back to back and win." And you play, you make another adjustment. You look at the first bird that won it, and you said, "Okay, you come like a thunderbolt, perfect." Okay, I didn't like how the rest come. Make some adjustments. Make some adjustments. And today we didn't have a thunderbolt. We had 29 birds in the prizes. We just didn't have that first early bird, and we're gonna go back at it. And when you're working with your dad as your partner, and you're 3,000 miles away, it's not as easy, as people think. And again, he's in his 70s, so he's gotta still be, keep that youth going, keep the fire going, and you're trying to explain. Sometimes it's not so easy. Uh, an old dog, a new trick. You know what I'm saying? Or try and stay on that same page. You explaining this, and he's taking it this way, and what we call is on a Wednesday morning, you fuck it and you blow a tire. The great thing is you're back on it on Sunday, and I mean, shit. I didn't go to bed. I did the race at what 1:30 in the morning. Didn't go to bed. I haven't been to bed because you come from the club and we talk pigeons, pigeons, pigeons. I think I've talked so much pigeons today. I'm about up to here, but it's okay. And yeah, that win was great. That what it's it's a different feel than any other win I've ever had. I won there at the California the Holiday Cup twice, and that was a tremendous feeling beating some of those one loss guys like David Clousing, and I think Gannis was in there at a certain time. What a feeling that was, and that was I mean it was prestigious and there's some money involved, but this is just a whole different feeling. just like a whoa, like you got to pinch yourself. Like what just happened there?
Yeah.
Oh, it's okay. We're back at the drawing board, and away we go. We didn't drop any birds today, which we shouldn't have, but just needed to have just a little bit earlier prizes. The first bird we clocked today was 50th, and I was hoping to be in the top 10. Yeah, we've been normally hitting in the 10 to 15, 20, sometimes 6, sometimes 4, but today wasn't our day. So back at it for Monday.
Yeah, but it's cool. You get to work with your father, and I mean, that in itself is really rewarding. Especially, if he's in his 70s. I mean, shit, as I'm sure it was a dream of his to go back and fly, and especially with you having your interest with the birds and all these years doing it, and boom, you have some success and still continuing to do good. I mean, that many birds in the prizes, that's outstanding.
Yeah, yeah, we keep working on it, and yeah, we work well together, but it's still, we work better together when we're actually together, because when you're trying to communicate it or something like that, it's just not the same. You can get lost in translation, or even if you get a bit frustrated, then it brings the tension up. When you're there, you're right hands on. So I'm not going to complain. I'm happy. He's the first one to do it. He's the first one to get the win. So I'm happy for him on that. And like I said, we're just going to keep pushing. We got people here saying greetings from California. Greetings, greetings. Michael Peebler says good evening. Good evening, Mr. Peebler. I hope you are doing swell. Uh, has there been any problems with Hawks? You got any problems with Hawks, John? You have no problems with Hawks.
Hawks are back. Yes, Hawks are back. I mean, every day there's something. They're not really mature. There's a lot of younger ones right now, but of course it's just one of those things that you just got to keep your pigeons alert and don't overfeed, and and after a while it's actually good to have them, because especially when you got a big army of pigeons, it keeps them up, keeps them going, and it keeps them alert.
John, it's a free flagger, and I almost I have a buddy down the road. He's like a falconer. Like he catches red tails and he trains them, and he does this stuff. You almost think it's not a bad, like, once your birds are good in that, is to you can sort of, you every once in a while. I know I used to say it. I say, what these birds need right now? They need a hawk to go through them. They need a let's get going. You know what I mean? A little kick in the
Yeah.
ass. And I'm thinking, John, maybe you should get a hawk there. You should just
Hey,
train
yeah,
one
well,
with your
yeah.
spare time.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you hate to spook, you hate to get the birds spooked by one of those things. I mean, Cooper hawk. I mean, for us, Cooper hawks are bad. Down at our clubhouse where San Diego Triple Crown now is, red tails are a problem. Uh, in another few months, I'm sure that, or another 5 weeks or whatever, when we start getting into the mountains, then we encounter the falcons, and yeah, those are deadly.
Yeah, my buddy there, he liked to play with the red tails, and he said, if you want to really do a hawk, like play with a hawk, you got to have to catch a wild one. And he'd catch a wild one. He'd train a red tail. And I'll tell you, once a red tail learns how to hunt pigeons, they're excellent at hunting them right off the roof. They know how to come up on the opposite side of the loft and nail them. They're very, man. I never thought they were such a smart bird, but of course, what did he do? He when he was done with it, he let it go, and it stayed right around. And it was a pain for quite a while, but we took care of
One of
that.
my one helper, Alan, this is a few years back when he was racing old birds. He had one that he ended up capturing. It was messing with his pigeons, and he took it 100 and I think 130 miles. 2 years later, that thing came back because he always remembered it. I guess just the way that the bird, the wing, had a pattern on its wing, and he just, yeah, never forgot. And then one of my other neighbors here, he's always dealing with them. I mean, he hates them more than the Cooper ox. The Cooper ox is what is really, to me, is a pain in the ass.
Yeah, a red tail going by him kicks him up a bit, gets him going, but doesn't cause really any problems. Any of those other ones, the falcon, the Cooper's hawk, like that. you got a problem. And it's funny, you have pigeons so long, you can almost tell when it's an unexperienced young hawk because they don't hunt. They go through them, they try. You can see they don't have the skill down yet, eh?
Yeah, that's
So,
right.
anyways, guys, yeah, he's got hawks, and I mean, hey, he's got the basically he's got the hawk barbecue there. I mean, he got 3,000 pigeons every time he lets them out. It's like candy. You know what I mean?
Oh,
Candy in
yeah.
the
I mean,
sky.
I mean, to be honest, I was thinking about that today. I mean, I haven't really had anything grab anything in front of the California, in front of the Royal. I did get nailed once or twice this year. I mean, in the last few weeks. Um, but it's in the air that things are happening. I mean, especially when these pigeons, with the type of weather we've been dealing with, monsoon type weather where it's calm for a few hours and all of a sudden winds pick up and a little bit of coolness in the morning and it's still humidity, but we're still, it hasn't been scorching hot like it has been the last few weeks, but with the monsoon, it's a little cooler in the morning, and these pigeons get up high, and I mean high. You can't see them, and I do believe that when the falcons hit them, that they just disperse, and that's when you start losing birds.
Yeah, and it's real bad if you let them out from the trailer and they get hit. That's almost a disaster that's going to happen. Like it's something how certain I don't know certain hawks they hit them in a certain like I find whenever they get hit in any type of training, it's real disaster. It's different than getting hit at the loft. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, well, especially if they're learning, absolutely.
Yeah. But guys, if sometimes you have a bad toss, you say, "Well, what happened?" Or a hawk, you see a hawk went through them. I don't know. It does something to them. Scares the shit out of them real bad. We have a comment here. I'm really enjoying your series where you actively race in Belgium. I know it's a huge bucket list thing for you and your dad. I'm so happy for you. You are rapidly rising to the top. Well, yeah, we're trying to do our best. I mean, I don't know about rising to the top, but our goal is to always be on the first page and put as many birds into prizes. And as my buddy Marcel says, if there's 500 pigeons, the first thing is how many birds did you put in the top 50, or if there's 900 pigeons, how many you put in the top 90. So we're always looking to see how many top prizes we can put in, and then how many prizes we win altogether. But yeah, it's a bucket list thing. We've always wanted to do it, and another thing to be able to do it, and it's scary. It's not.
Well,
It
if
is
you, I
scary.
mean, if you look back, I mean, for a lot of these guys that are racing pigeons, yeah, it's a dream. You're going up against big names, big numbers, and it's prestigious. Let alone just living there. That's a huge accomplishment. So that's something to be proud of. I mean, it's there's how many fanciers throughout the North America, and how many are actually doing it. So that's something to be said.
Yeah, it's funny. They all they laugh. They laugh at the beginning. They say all the North Americans that can't do it, or everyone who's come and tried. If they don't have a Belgian loft manager, they don't do it. And now in the area, we go to the club, and then they all know us. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Now we're not looked so down upon. We're not a joke. So that's a good thing. But we got still hell of a long way to go. Again, we would like to start flying the national races. Maybe we can do that next season. These birds aren't ready for that. They're not in the right spot in the wing. They're holed out. They're good, but they're not where I think we need to be. But Kevin Hoffman says in New York we are having a big problem. Guys are losing birds like crazy. I believe because of the K factor or the solar eclipse that we are having right now. That's throwing off the magnetic sense. Okay. You take John, you go first, then I'm gonna go. What do you
Well,
think, John?
No, I do believe there's something going on. I do believe that the sun. I mean, when it comes to the K factor, I mean, I've had things in the past where a good friend of mine that said, "Do not release, do not release," and I said, "Too late, I already did. This is in the desert." Um, but for what he's saying in New York, a good friend of mine there in Hawaii, same thing. Guys are going, 30, 40 miles over the water to another island, and they're getting hammered. And the season hasn't even started yet. And why? There's a lot of goofy things going on with Mother Nature, and earthquakes. We already know that the tornadoes and just it's crazy. Just like I said, in my neck of the woods, San Diego's been fair, and then all of a sudden in the mountains it's okay for a few hours, and all of a sudden it turns where it's black skies. In fact, just 2 days ago we had hail. It was 25 miles away from me, hail. I mean, crazy. So there's a lot of things going on that yeah, do those type of things will affect the pigeons.
Yeah, again, I've maybe I don't know. I've never ever looked at the K factor. I don't look. I don't look. I'm one of the guys. I don't look at any of it. I say, okay, we start with the young birds. They start going out every day. They go out. High winds, they go out. Raining, they go out. They go out. They loft fly and all this shit. They go out. They go out. They go out. They go out, and they learn it. And then when I start to train, I play the same sort of way. I'm not a guy that goes and breaks it down. Okay, tomorrow's K factor. This has happened here. This has happened here. This has happened here. Just like John said, hey, I was in the desert. I let him out. My buddy said not to let him out. I think you can go nuts. I had a shit race today, John. It wasn't shit. It was good. The bird, bomb, 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 bomb. But I didn't have a bird. I had a bird that was a minute off the pace. I had someone say to me, "You got to treat him for canker and respiratory." Oh, I fucked it up. I fed him wrong. I screwed it up. I trained this way. I went that way. That's not it. First thing we go for, well, we need drugs. Let's dump the drugs into him. Let's make an excuse. K factor, A factor, B factor, C factor. Hell with it, man. Fly the damn birds. The ones that are birds coming home? Yeah, those are the ones you want. The other ones, if they can't have, if we get a 6 months at K factor, John, what are we doing?
Well, I mean, for what you're saying, I mean, there's 100% truth that it's evolution. It's just like I had a comment today with a local flyer. Oh, you're training already. I said, yeah. I said, I've always trained this time. I said, I just
Cool.
don't, I mean, it's just short tosses.
Yeah.
Um,
And you're 100. Wait, guys. And John called me today. He said, Ryan, are you up and at 'em? I said, 100% I am. And I do want to post this. John, doing some, and we'll continue, John, with what you're saying here, but I do want to post this up because, John, you were working hard today, man. You were out there. You were,
yeah, the hardest
you
part,
were,
I mean, we've been loading them for the last 4 days, but it's just getting them used to everything, and that's what it's all about. But the beginning stages are always rough. But
yeah.
for what the gentleman's saying, as far as what they're experiencing in New York, I think it's across the board. I think pigeon racing is can be very difficult this year. If that weather continues with the weather pattern that it is, I mean, I made that mistake last year where you know uh, 85, 90 degrees, but coming down from the mountains to the desert, it was like in the mid 70s, thinking, okay, it's going to be okay. Just warms up too fast, and the heat will get you. At least in our neck of the woods, referring to something like that. But a lot of crazy things going on. Guys losing them off the loft, myself included. I mean, I have my pigeons. I mean, they're flying. Some of them are flying outstanding. All of a sudden, 15 gone. The next day another five, and then it just adds up. And I could attribute a lot of things to that. But just like Ryan said, it's the good ones, we think. I mean, I'm sure we lose some nice ones too, but I'll use, for example, this past week, I dropped 20 some birds flying again, three from one guy and three from another guy. Why? It's really interesting why that happens. I can't, I don't have an answer for that part, but all I can do tell you is the ones that come back, those are the special pigeons. And that's just part of the sport. That's, again, that's evolution. Whatever these pigeons that have the ability to come home, they're overcoming, maybe the G5, maybe the K factor, maybe a little bit of heat, maybe a humidity. That's where we're evolving to.
Well,
So
and the other thing is the birds today, in this year or next year or the previous year, they've had more cell towers, more of all this bullshit to deal with than birds from 50 years ago. It's in the system to deal with this shit more. So, but I know a pigeon guy. A pigeon guy is always wanting to make himself feel better. God, I trained him today, or I let him out, John. Five of them pissed off the roof. Shit, shit, shit. Well, you instantly start making excuses. Just relax. It's okay. Let the pigeons show you. And you know what? If you lose them all, you lose them all. What are you going to do? If you baby them on every day of the week, John, you're never going to get anywhere, are you? And
Well, you're 100%. Yeah,
that's
well,
why you're doing this now.
you're 100% right. I mean, there's a lot of guys that say, "Oh, he's nuts. He's training early." Hey, the blue skies, weather's good. Are the birds completely molted out? No. But do they have wings to do it and come home? Yes. So we go. I mean, in another month, all of a sudden, the winds, everything can change. Where all of a sudden now I'm dealing with 20-mile winds every day. Then you can't train at all. So, young pigeons, if the opportunity's there, you got to go. And hey, everyone's going to have their own opinion, and I can respect that. But for me, no, they got to go, and that's just how I go. I mean, that's just so people have to remember the race is 3 months out. So you take advantage. Am I going to go 50 miles tomorrow? No, it's a very slow process what I do, but I mean, I do everything to give the birds the opportunity to really develop that compass, and that's, to me, is still the most important part of this game.
Yeah, and you're being proactive. You have 2 weeks here of beautiful weather, like you're seeing here. This here, John, I mean, this is basically you're loading them in the trailer. You're getting them used to it. You're getting them used to sitting in there for a bit, bounce down the road half a mile to a mile, letting them come out, letting them get used to it, letting them come out. This shit all takes time. You can't just say in 30 days from now, we're going to be at 200 miles or 150 miles. It's not going to work. It's going to be a train wreck. Yes, it might work. And the pigeon gods can be on my side or John's side or your side, but give yourself time. Everyone, give yourself time. I see people, John. They got the first Youngbird race is 3 weeks from now. And so, oh yeah, I'm going to start training them this week. And I say to myself, what are you doing? You're going to push them a little bit, have one bad day, lose some birds. Now you're making excuses again on why you lost them instead of saying, hey, I start racing August 1st. I'm going to start training them in the end of May. Slowly start going and build the confidence and build them up. And I just think a lot of guys they do the rush system, John. Like this here, what we're seeing. People say, "Well, what's the point of this? This is stupid." No, this is teaching them baby steps, eh?
Oh yeah. Well, like I said, I dealt with this. I dealt with this pigeon abuse 25 years ago, where a lot of old timers thought I was ridiculous, and good friends of mine, they'd hammer me on it.
Mm.
But I know different. I mean, I could tell you. I mean, I've done it a long time, and just because we're doing all this effort, doesn't mean they're going to be good in 3 weeks. A lot of them will be, but you get a falcon that hits the group and they scatter, and yeah, you're still going to lose birds, even with all the time and effort, and uh, yeah, that's all I'm trying to do is ensure that the pigeons have the capabilities by condition, by routine of being familiar with loading, familiar with going in the loft, with get up and go. I do this on purpose, small groups. I want them to make a mistake right now. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm doing this on purpose. Yeah, I could cut them all loose all at one time, but that doesn't accomplish anything for me because I know that all you're doing is gonna develop followers. Whereas you do this, if I could do this every time, I would. But I got a break right now. It's not hot. In another week, if that heat comes back, I'm limited with time. So then I start letting bigger groups out faster and faster. So there's a reason for all this whole process.
Yeah, and that's why guys we're showing you here. Where if you have questions on what John's doing, and you say, "Well, how far is he?" Ask your questions. Don't be shy. You see what's on the screen. Ask the questions. Kevin Hoffman says he's going to throw something at me, and Kevin, I don't know if I have the answer for you. We're going to see what John says. I have an answer, but I'm going to read it. Throw this one at you guys. A buddy of mine just told me that a buddy of his had his birds out to 80 miles. Okay, that's very good tossing. They all got together this Sunday. So guys took their birds to a 40-mile training spot. A group of guys, took their birds together and they made a little short race at 40 miles. The guy that trained his birds 80 miles, he only got one bird back on the day. Isn't that crazy? John, what do you think?
Hey, how far apart are these guys?
100%, John, what you say. How far apart? But here's the question I have. You can train your pigeons. And if every time you train them, they beat you home, they beat you home, they beat you home, they beat you home, everything's going great. Wow, I trained them 25 times. They're beating me home. I'm at 50 miles. They're beating me home. What did my father say to me? Humble me real quick. He says, yeah, they're still shit. I said, well, why? They've been training 30 times. They got them out to like this guy, 80 miles. He says they haven't hit other pigeons. When they hit other pigeons, then we start learning. And I'll tell you, they got to get the best tosses, John, are the ones where they get screwed up, where they got to learn. And I know this
Yeah,
guy
no,
lost
well,
some
most of
pigeons.
these most of these guys nowadays don't want to get hurt, right? I mean, you're 100% right. Um, I've fanciers that know me that are in the race, and I mean, I say it all the time. For me, on this course, I could go 40, 50 miles. Birds could be, they're dialed in. They figured out the passes. They know that, if the altitude is good, they're good. But as soon as I drop into the desert and we're below sea level and they got to climb, that's a different story now. It's an all day fly. And, even with all these, we're talking, I'll probably have 35, 40 tosses by the time I drop in 60 miles. But that's what it takes on this course. And even when you drop in, if the weather, like I just mentioned, if it's a little bit on the hot, the heat, if it didn't cool down, or the winds are not, mild, for one, I just won't do it anymore. I mean, I experienced that last year. But I'll wait and, I'll be ready to go. But because of that mountain terrain and they got to climb, it, it it really educates the birds. It takes about 3 times before they really get up and go, get up and go. But all these short tosses and all these tosses up to 40, 50 miles, no problem. But as soon as I drop into that desert, nope, it starts all over again. But once they figure it out, then they're good again. It's the same thing
Yeah.
with this process. Right now, that mountain behind, it's a few miles out. I mean, it takes me 12 tosses before I get to that, because we're going to be at a higher elevation there. And what people don't understand is the winds are different. At every 1,000 feet, it's different. And hey, I don't know what the day is going to bring me. Then it might be Santa Ana, which is a tailwind, or it might be cool, overcast condition where now it's a headwind, and it just changes everything for the fly. And you just do your best to be prepared for what Mother Nature is going to give you. That's all you can do.
Yeah, and sometimes you're going to train and you're going to have those days where you have that. I always say though, you want to have screw up tosses. It's just you have to be okay with having them. For guys training their own birds. Well, one loft, John has to play. John has to think miles ahead because again, this is a lot of people's pigeons. There's a lot of responsibility. It's a little different than your own. When you train your own and you lose your own, you just look in the mirror and say, "Oh, you blame yourself." John's got to answer to five, six, 700 breeders. And you see how he's turning the stones slowly, slowly. And people, will watch this. And John, you're already going to hear today. I'm sure you'll already hear after today or tomorrow. Well, what are you putting the clock on? I want to see who's first. You see how he
Oh
does
yeah,
it?
well that's why. To be honest, I mean, I did it. But that's why I do this weekly, because too much emphasis gets put on a 5 mile or 3 mile or 2 mile toss, and it has no bearing on, well, who's good and who's not. They're not ready. It's just training, you know. So I just get to a point. I just go forward, and that's all. That's what I do. I just tune out and just keep going forward, because it's a process. It doesn't happen. It doesn't. I mean, it doesn't happen in a week or two. Not for me. It takes time.
No, and I think most races it takes time, and it depends. It all depends on what you're willing to do and put into the pigeons. Derek Teal says here he likes to train 7 to 8 weeks before. I said, if your young birds are out and they're rambling and they're ranging and they're doing everything good. I know guys, I hear guys, they park them for 6 months. I go, what are you parking them for? You're making them as flat as pancakes. Let's get the education in. I'd rather get them trained and then slow them down. I'm just, I think sometimes I see people that wait so long and they're training real old. I call it the birds lost the curve, eh? John, whenever I send birds, I send them to California, I'd always send them right at the end. And is it good? Is it bad? I don't know. But I always thought the birds got on the bike quicker. You know what I mean? They had to go into the
Well,
mob. They
there,
started off flying, started training, and they went. Instead of getting there in April and sit for 4 months.
well, you got a point, but it's a balance. So you figure, like myself, some guys did that, came in middle of June. Well, middle of June, and look where I'm at already. I had to push them. It didn't give them time. I mean, pigeons are still molting, and when they're that young, right? They're not 100%. So that's where these guys are not. They're thinking I'm something like, they're thinking that I'm going to start training in the middle of September. No, I tell everybody I start early. I have to. That's just the way I roll, and it's just the way that I see fit. That I got to get pigeons home. I cannot take that chance where all of a sudden I do wait and, just like you said, move them out quick. I mean, there's a few guys that race really good, and in my organization, and they're firm believers of just going one time here, one time there. That's what they do with their own pigeons. But these knuckleheads forget this is the summertime. This is a different type of terrain. Whereas when we fly in January, right, temperature is 40 degrees. Pigeons can make a mistake and they can fly all day. Not to mention, they're not molting. Pigeons
Yeah.
now are still molting. They're not 100%. So that's why I play it safe. And, there's other guys, like this race I went in Texas. Young pigeons, yes, they did great. But guess what? Wasn't molting time. Wasn't molting season yet. Now it's molting season. Now everybody's birds are dropping feathers everywhere. If you have to push these pigeons, with heat and they're molting like that, that's dangerous. That's
Yeah.
when you fly. It's when you fly a system, light system, dark system.
Yeah, that's
So
that's right. And the other thing is guys too, they have their own birds, they raise a family of birds. They all the babies grow up, the first round, second round, okay, they're playing them together. Okay. It's a one little army, one little group. If it's 100 birds or 150 birds, it's one little group. You take John or even myself there in Belgium. I got 5 from Enemy Van He, 5 from this one, 5 from that one, 6 from that one, 10 from that one, 4 from that one. Right? All these birds, all different ages. And you get them. And John, I really do believe that these birds, deep inside of them, they always have a little thought of, this isn't my home. And I think if you drop the hammer like some of your guys do and push them and push them too fast, sayonara, they're gone.
yeah.
They break.
Well, and just like I said, if they're not feeling 100% because of Mother Nature, and you're pushing them, they're gonna get lost as well. So, like what you said, coming out of Canada is already stressful. I mean, we're talking, a while back. I mean, time wise, there's a lot of things that impact how these pigeons are going to develop, and that's where everyone kind of needs to tune in and say, hey, if he's going to start training, I mean, it's probably best if my pigeons are 12 weeks, at the loft, not 5 weeks before he starts training. You know.
Yeah, and again, there's a whole all different ways to think, but you got to remember, and I think people forget, they think it's just John. Well, he's got the best pigeons from all around. Yeah, he's got a lot of good pigeons sent to him. He got a lot of real shit sent to him. He got a lot of real average sent to him. He got a lot of everything sent to him. And they all have their original home in their mind. No, 100%, it's always still in there, slightly in the back of your head. You know what I mean? It
Yeah,
is
I
what
mean,
it is.
you have that, of course, the what is what it is, but then you have Mother Nature, and then, like I said, different terrain, and yeah, this particular course, man, it really, those pigeons that hang in there, at least to the 100, are good birds. Things happen, when you're really getting into the 150, 200. If you get, like I said, if you get predators or you get some strong winds, but for them to navigate, they got to have, there's something to be said for that.
100%. You guys are going to see the training video. I'm going to get Leah to publish it out this week so you guys can see that first 25 miles. You look at the canyons and a little bit of that terrain. When I come down to visit John here in a few weeks' time, once the birds are going a bit further, maybe we'll go out into the desert and take a look. We got a question here, Kevin Hoffman. Kevin, it's a great question. Don't worry, my friend. Don't be so hard on yourself. Let me ask you guys. Please give me your honest opinion. All right. I'm only going to give you my honest opinion because if you don't like it, it's okay. There's lots of those channels out there, but no, we're going to give it to you. John will for sure. I started training my birds. They have only been on 9 tosses because I baby them. Well, first thing is you're being honest. That's good. I take them 3 miles and I lost 10 the other day from 3 mile toss. And the prior toss was 3 miles and I lost 12. Yes, I did get birds back, but why do you think this happens? Why do you think this is happening? People are telling me hawks are crazy. I did toss 82 birds each toss altogether. Okay, so you just started tossing. What do you think, John?
Well, for one, sometimes if you let 82 to go, 82 together, you're better off just, 15 and seeing what they're doing at that point. Um, how's the feed? How's your canker situation? Did you medicate them prior to training? Those are the few things that I look at. And then you got to look at, how are your birds right now? Are they molting? Are they falling apart? Just like I said, if they're in a body molt, they're not feeling it. They're not at their 100%. So what you're doing would be proper. A couple miles isn't going to hurt them. But what will hurt them is if they're too heavy, and if you do have a canker problem or respiratory issue.
Yeah.
So those are the things that I would look at. And then of course 82 pigeons, there's no reason to, I mean, there's a lot of guys that believe that, but why? If they're not going to come home 5, 6 pigeons by themselves, or 10 pigeons, in small groups, what makes you think they're going to come, 82 on the drop? It's just no.
Yeah, and the other thing is, Kevin, were they loft flying good? Were they rambling good? Were they doing all these things good? Okay, if they were, how long have they been rambling good? Has it been they've been rambling good and then they stopped rambling and you waited 6, 8, 10 weeks before you start training? Sometimes they get flat spots. The other thing is take them to 3 miles, train them. Lost 10. Okay, next day, take them to 3 miles, train them again. Take them to 3 miles, train them again. Take them till they beat you home, until they're ripping it off. And then say, now we go to 6 miles. And there's nothing wrong with training them 2, 3 times in a day if you can. There's nothing wrong if you go to work, loft fly them there in the morning or whatever, put them all in the basket, let them sit all day. When you come home from work, take them. And sometimes I think, again, focus. Focus. You got birds home. You took 82, you lost 10, you lost 12. Hey, you're going to lose some. If you're not losing, you're not training.
Well, and then you got to keep in mind, the housing, the loft space.
Yep.
If you just have an 8x8 loft, you will lose pigeons. It's not, this, the given rule is right. For every square foot, you could have a bird, but no, you probably, 30 pigeons in an 8x8. When you really start doing an abundance of pigeons, as a rule, the pigeons will, how would I say, the number of pigeons will accommodate what that loft can actually hold.
Okay. Yeah, and that's right. John, I was, uh, I don't know, 16 years old, and I built a loft, and I said to my dad, I'm going to put 80 youngsters in there, and John, when you're 16, you're going to tell your dad how it's going to go. You know what I mean? And he said, I think that loft's going to be good for about, I don't know, 40 youngsters, and it was, I think, a 12x8. About 40 youngsters. I got to the first race. I think I had 33 in the loft. And I
Yeah,
put in 85 to 100, right? I had
yeah,
sickness. I had this. I had that. And the loft weaned itself down.
yeah.
And I had a great season. But man, the depression you go through, you got a big dream, big dream, but it doesn't always work. Said son of a bitch, my dad's right. Okay, we got some more comments here. Fabian says, well, this is an interesting one, John. I have a thought on this, but for people wanting to run a one mile race, John's not, so he's okay. How does an OLR choose the race course or the direction they fly? John, how in the world did you come up with the course you picked? Because you picked, man, a really good, challenging course.
Well, this was, I mean, this was a course that was developed 40 years ago. Um, this wasn't even a course that San Diego guys actually flew going east. It was chosen just because it would be fair to Canadians, to people that were back east, to people that were in Northern California, um, because you never knew what kind of day you were going to get on race day. And that still is the case today. Um, there are courses that are out there that we know that, 1700 plus, 1800 plus continuously all the time. Now, mind you, I did experience that. I think it was like 3, 4 years ago, where never done. In fact, people, even myself, was like, "What the hell?" But they did it. They made it in like 5 hours, 4.5, 5 hours from a 300. And but 99% of the time, it's not going to happen. But that's I think a lot of guys will look at what's the easiest for travel for the pigeons and open territory for us. Like here being in California, if I was to fly north, there's just a lot of structures. Freeways are packed, more people on the road. You actually probably going to hit more wires. You're going to hit more cell towers. Whereas here, we go straight east, and for the first 50 miles, yeah, there's a little bit of housing, but we're in the mountains. And then we drop into the desert, and there's just a few people left over there. And then you're just an open, the desert. Once you get out there, it's a whole different world.
Yeah, I definitely recommend if you're somebody thinking of starting a one off race, just pick an easy course, pick a tailwind course. And I'm being honest. You got to have people don't realize, John. I could probably get a cigar and light it up and burn John, and he won't feel it because he's been burned and burned and burned by pigeon guys. Hey, even some, and John, even some of your best friends or guys you thought were your best friends or guys that you've known for years, you'll have a bad day with the birds. And
Oh,
the
it's
tear
gonna
you,
happen.
tear you an asshole. Your asshole just got chewed right. You go, what the? I didn't expect this from him. Well, if you guys are thinking of running one or starting one, really think about what you're getting into.
Well, it's even happening now. I mean, I get discouraged, but and I keep saying it, guys. We're not here to lose pigeons. We're not. You lose your birds, it costs me as well. Um, it's everything on the line, and that's of course that's where that goes back. People get gun shy, you can't be gun shy. It's just part of the sport, and you got to roll with it, man up, and go. And I guess I'm doing it so long, and that's my feelings. And they're not going to know. Nobody's going to really know because of the pressure that I've been going through. I mean, hey, I had guys out of Texas a few years back. Oh, you don't fly on a windy day. Oh, you don't fly on this. Oh, fuck. 4 years later, they got their dick in their hand, going, "Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh, we got to move the race back." And I'm not talking big one loft races. I'm talking a small one. And you know, you have to be so careful in what you say and the opinion that you give when you go to these other races. I can't comment on what happened to somebody else's. I don't know what they did. I don't know how they fed. I don't know what kind of day. I don't know their terrain. But I do know my course, and I know what's expected. I know what I got to do. And, I mean, we've experienced that in the past that, it is the days are the day. But as we've seen now, Mother Nature has just become more brutal. And all we can do is do our best to get a good liberation, because these apps that you get, nothing's bulletproof with all this shit. You know, I mean
John, John, I'm just going to fire this at you here. I don't think Mother Nature, even though she's a real bitch and she's vicious, right? She closed cities down, burying snow, typhoon rains, earthquakes, you name it. She's been a bitch her whole life. I've got a feeling the problem here is the pigeon man. I got the windy app. Okay, winds are blowing that way. 2 weeks from now on Saturday, it's going to be hailstorms. All this shit. You read so much into it. You go, I can't train today. I can't train today. The weather's always been the same. It's that we have more information. And I think, John, I'm not saying you, I'm saying a lot of people become gun shy. They're afraid. They read so much into it. Where 20 years ago, do we have all this shit?
no,
No. We were old school pitching men. You got out in the desert, John. Whoops, there they go, right?
well, that's what brought us to the old train of thought. When we said it before, if it's calm and clear and no rain at the release, and it's like that at home, you race. What's in the middle, that's how it goes. But it's changed in this world today. And
Yeah.
you have so many guys. I mean, you could have, like I said, you could have 250 participants, and you got another 50 guys sitting not even in the race, and they got comments. And it's like, you freaking bastards have no idea all this
Yeah.
effort that goes into it and what has to be done. And what you got to do. That's pigeon racing. That's where we're at. That's just the world. It's no different than people making comments on basketball or football, or just right now with the World Cup. I mean, it's people. So
Yeah.
that's why you do what you're doing, Ryan. Something like you enjoy it with your family. That's what it's about, and you enjoy it with your friends. It's no different than me right now doing this shit with Ryan. I get a kick out of it, and if it could help somebody, then it's another positive move for the sport. Because
And you know,
people do need to hear it. People do need to say that, hey, there's never a promising day. I mean, shit happens in pigeon racing. Just like the man said, fuck the canine factor, everything's perfect and we're losing birds. We don't know sometimes what the problem is. Big races last year, just like Ryan said, pigeons are coming great 5-6 weeks in a row. Guess what? Pigeons don't know anything because they're all home in 10 minutes. How do you know which one's a good one yet? All you knuckleheads all have a feeling of, oh, this is going to be a good one. Bullshit. The good ones are the ones that come home when many do not come home because they came home. You have to finish the race. And that's what
that
we're losing it on that. People are not understanding that. Everybody's so, I shouldn't say everybody, but you have people making such quick comments and being so negative, and fucking bastards haven't even been in the sport 3 years and they got a comment like that. It's wrong. But that's the evolution of people in pigeon racing. Let the
that's a
evolution of pigeon racing be, and let the birds, let the good ones come. Just like I said a week ago, I mean, years ago, you'd have the ugliest pigeon win the race. What's wrong with that? I
John.
mean,
100%, man. And I say, we look here, guys, on the camera. It looks like a beautiful day. John's letting them out in groups. Everything's going good. All of a sudden, he's got 300 up there. They're starting to head home, and a peregrine goes through. You lose all 300 of those.
Can't
That's
happen.
life. It's life. It's life. But okay, Kevin, you've been posting in some comments. I'm going to get to you. I said I treat him for Kangar. I treat him for Coxie. Uh, Definitely not a problem. They're lost flying 45 minutes. Are they rambling? Are they disappearing and coming back? You know what? Put them in the basket. Leave them in the basket for a day and a half. No food. Just give them water. Take them training. They got to make sure though that they are rambling. I'm sure they are. And you said it, Kevin. You're a baby in a bit. Stop babying. They're pigeons. They're okay. Another question, John, for you. Kevin asked this question. Poor Kevin, I can tell his hair's going gray. The pigeons are getting the best of him. Don't worry, Kevin. Hey, John, question. Do you think I'll get better progress with the birds if I break them down into smaller groups?
Yes.
Will it make a difference?
I think that the first 40 miles, that's what you should do. I'm not a big fan of, there's a lot of things that can go wrong when you're cutting out a big flock. Let the birds become a little bit independent and then bring them together. That's my
Yeah,
advice. And it's just like, Ryan's friend there, Patrick Boakes. He goes, 20 miles and single tosses each individual pigeon, and the good ones come home.
yeah.
So, that could, I mean, for most guys, that's nerve wracking. But if you're letting go, 20 or 10, 5, 10, 15, start at a, shorter distance and get them used to that. But you got to spend some time that they actually learn something. That would
I-
be that's what I would do. Just go a mile and take one day. Just remember the blue bars, and the next day take the blue checks, and take that time so that the first 10 miles out, they all know how to come home. Once they know that, you'll be fine. But you got to
I-
still watch the weight. You got to watch the weight of the birds, and then in the end, if whatever's not there, call the guy you bought them from and put them in a box and ship them back to him.
And another thing, I see there my neighbor Sir Al Lambrex. He has his group that he loft flies. Let's say there's 82. He loft fly, then he starts breaking them down in loft flying, John, around the loft. He break them down in groups of 10 loft flying. Sometimes my dad says, son of a bitch, you guys loft flying 3 pigeons. They only fly for 12 minutes, 10 minutes, 8 minutes to come in. Getting the pigeons to think on their own. When you let up 50 pigeons always together, the same 50. There's your leaders. And then there's the ones that say, listen, wherever they're going, I'm going. They're dummies. You got to create more leaders. And Kevin, break them down into small groups. Let them go in a whole group. Break them down in a small group. Let them go up and down. Mix it up. Don't be afraid. And yes, remember, look in the mirror and say, I'm going to stop babying this shit. Uh, Another great podcast. Keep it up, guys. Thank you. What's this question here? What types of birds do the best on John's course? John, that's a tricky one. John, what's the best birds for your course? Is that an easy thing to answer?
Hey, I said in the past, you got your Gabbies, you got your Leo Herman crosses have done well, but I forgot to, and I mean, I forgot to include the Hooven Leo Herman crosses have done well. But Florian's pigeons have been on fire the last few years, not just for Joe Nemelka, but there's a JoJo Crisostomo up in Orange County. He picked up a hen, and I think 2 years in a row, one time for him, and then he loaned it to his good friend Robert Burge, and turned out to be another champion for Robert last year. So the blood doesn't lie, but it's trying to get that blood. That's the hardest part.
Yeah, and I find, sometimes people, and I say this, if you can fly and you have your birds and you're flying at home, don't be afraid to send the birds that you race at home that do the whole series. Send them. I know sometimes people are just buying imports and they're crossing them and saying, "Oh, this is going to work." Doesn't always work like that. I still say guys got to fly their pigeons at home to sort of get a read on what they're doing.
You got to find a challenge. Something like I said, sometimes you got to look at the hard races. In the old days, the old timers, they'd take the pigeons that flew the fives and the sixes and bring those back into the breeding stock. Of course, there was a time where people said, we're talking 15 years ago, oh, well, they're too slow, they're too slow. But guess what? Now they're finding out that speed is great, but you still need that homing ability. You still need that desire to come home. You still need that pigeon that has endurance. It might only be a 1,200-yard pigeon, but that's up to you to make it faster. It's a
Yeah,
combination.
and John, have you ever noticed? And guys, you can do this at home. Note the races you're in, and take a look. Sometimes in a 4, 5, or 6 race series, there's always that what we call John that bad race. That race where like, uh-oh. It wasn't what everyone thought it was. You see it in Florida Pigeon Derby. There, you've seen it. They do speeds of 2,100 or Big Andy 2,100, 1,900. The speeds are rocketing all the time, and then all of a sudden they hit a day where it hits 1,100, and all of a sudden it's just like the pigeons just can't hack it, and
Well,
that's where
they didn't learn anything. They did just like the gentleman said. They're 5 miles or 2 miles. They all keep coming together. They're not becoming individuals. And the only way they become individuals is by either you're going to break them down in their training. We can't do that in one loft racing, or you need hard races. I mean, you need a bad toss to get the birds to be dialed in. And as a trainer, of course you don't want that. That's the last thing you want. But really, those are the things that have to happen in order for the pigeons to excel on race day, to make sure you got pigeons coming home on race day. Or it ensures you, I should say, to get pigeons home, because now you have pigeons that are independent, that have learned something. And so many of these knuckleheads, like I said, get out there and they make their opinions, and they never raced. Those that have raced pigeons will understand that. It's the same thing when you go into club racing and you got you got the pigeons that are dialed in at 100, 150, 200, 210. Well, guess what? The best pigeons for that 354 are the ones that are always seventh, eighth, ninth in the clock, or the one that's been out overnight sometimes. Those are the pigeons that you're looking for an 8-hour race, not the ones that were dialed in at 2.5, 3 hours, 3.5, 4 hours on the wing. It's not enough. But
yeah.
we can't control that. I mean, the race is the race, but so many times the percentage of getting a pigeon that's going to fly lights out in that top 1%, that's not easy. It happens, but as a rule, the pigeons that go to the 350 are not the birds that are on top. They're always the pigeons that are in the middle and sometimes towards the bottom, or they made a mistake the week before. And so many times, people that haven't been in the sport a lot of times say, "Oh, that's a dud. He's late." And then even with guys that have been in the sport 40 years make that mistake. Oh, I'm gonna pool. Now that one's been a dud. All of a sudden, guess what? That's the first bird home, and maybe even their only bird home. It
Yeah.
happens.
And that's where I say as well as John said, guys, we're taking birds that flew the 400 or 500 miles as yearlings or old birds, and they're breeding babies out of them to send to the races. When you are flying your birds at home, and then you're breeding off of them, hey, the parents have flown for me. I know what the parents have done. It's a little no, hey, these birds can do it. I see what they can do. I always like to send out of that. Yeah. Hey, if I have a super hen, she's flown great for me, and I buy a Patrick Books or a Lambrex pigeon. Okay, I cross it in. I know on the one side, I know what this is done. And again, I always say a lot of people try and buy direct children off of pigeons, not pigeons bred for stock, bred for stock. A lot of people get sucked into this bred for stock stuff, and it weighs you down. What did Kevin say? Kevin says he's feeling good now. I think we got him back. Definitely make yourself a drink, Kevin, too. When you're training, stiff drink. Thank you so much. I'm definitely going to do that on the next toss. We'll break them down and let you guys know. Thank you. Great. Okay, good. And
Good
yeah,
luck,
Kevin,
Kevin.
if you ever have a question, Kevin, you can call me 416-990-0187. I'll walk you off the ledge. No problem. Seven Hills Loft says, let's get going. Good job. Good evening, gentlemen. Good evening. So, John, uh, these birds here, was this just Royal Cup or was this both?
This is both. This is both, and surprisingly, I mean, it's just been one or two pigeons with a couple thousand birds, and they're over 100 yards apart to lofts, but they're not making mistakes by trapping into the wrong loft, which is it's pretty outstanding. Because that it has happened, or 10 go into that one loft and 10 go over there, or five, and but it's no different than just say like the GHC, and you got all those lofts, and the pigeons got to learn. I mean, you'd be amazed. People need to just think about it, that these pigeons are capable of so much.
Oh, hey, listen, the people are so soft and the pigeons are so hard. They're so capable. You're right, John. And people just they baby them. They pick every kind of excuse. These things are machines. I mean, I think Mother Nature's one of the greatest animals they built. It's resilient. They got heart. They got power. They got intelligence. They got it all. I mean, it is a perfect animal. Would you not say?
Oh, it's a phenomenal sport. I mean, there's times when I get beat up, and you're doing it for so long, and the intake is long, and you got, it's a process, and then you're running into problems with some pigeons, and you're like, what the hell? But once you get to this stage and you're getting to go, I mean, hey, I know I'm going to lose another 20-30%. That's a given. And but once you start seeing the type of pigeons that are left, the cream comes to the top, and that's when it becomes rewarding. And it's fantastic. I mean, I've been doing it for so many years, and my wife always says, "Fuck, you'll be doing this till you're dead." I said, "Nah, we'll back off." Well, we'll see. I don't know. I mean, she wants that, but like I said, it gets in your blood. No different than some of my friends that are still racing in Florida that are just, that's what they live by. This is what they do, and that's what makes it fun when you're running there, when you get the time to be around those people that are truly for the sport. There's no better feel. It's I don't know. I can't tell you any different, because that's just become part of my life. And especially when you're able to have those pigeons in your own backyard, and they see how they develop. And if you had 75 to 80 pigeons and you got 7 or 8 good ones, well, you're lucky, and that's what you're shooting for. If I could get at least that, I mean, hopefully I got a few more than that. But I mean, good birds. It's not easy. And that's what makes
No.
it fun.
No, it's not, and you know that's a real pigeon man. What you hear there, it's burned right in. You'll John, you'll stop, and you'll stop for about 6 months, and then you'll say, "Sorry, I got to get back into it again. I'm
Well,
itchy."
dude, I mean, you seen my operation. Well, I got another operation I'm working on, and pigeons here, pigeons there, and I keep saying I got to cut back. I mean, a lot of times, people say, hey, let me buy this, let me buy that, and I said, just take it, just go with it. And I mean, I have some younger beginner guys that I got to help out, and I mean, I got helped out as well, so I always remember that. So if I could do them right, I will. Especially the ones that have been really good to me. Some of these younger, I mean, there's been some assholes, but there's been some good ones too, and I don't forget.
I just had something come to my head. You should open up the first university. Okay, for one loft racing for people who want to come from. No, it's like a 1 year course. They come and they work with you for the season, and they get a degree on how the hell
You
to
know,
do it. You know what I mean?
it was funny you said that, but I think they had some kind of internship in Belgium for loft managers. Um, I got a cousin that's up in San Pedro, and she used to work at a charter school. This is a few years back, and of course, my family there's quite a few cousins, but they know nothing about the pigeons. So we were at a family party, and my
Hmm.
cousin says, John, I got to tell you this story. She says, the president of this charter school, he's from Belgium, and he wants to bring this program here to Los Angeles. And I'm like, what program? Pigeons, the discipline. And we're talking adolescents, 10, 12, almost teens, probably 12 to 13 years old, to give them that experience of what it takes to take care of homing pigeons. So it does exist.
Oh,
And that's something that, people might want to research and go. I mean, you look at DeBucker. DeBucker was, he was Bouchard's man.
yeah.
He was a loft manager there. And, you know, everyone's got a little, all these top guys got a history of learning the pigeons from somebody. And I myself, I mean, yeah, I was blessed with my father, with his experience, and my grandfather. And then, of course, some of these old timers that we mentioned in the past, that kind of molded me. But, you're right. If you come across, if you're involved with the right people, and if there is a school that can do that, I think the sport would advance.
Yeah, I will say, like any business or maybe franchise or whatever, I'm going to say, this is a compliment to you. You've learned it, and I think you didn't learn it in Florida. We're not knocking Florida. I'm not here to do that. No, but I say you started at the very beginning, and you've dealt with so many people, so many lofts, paying out the prize money, but taking the birds in and organizing it, and even putting the event on at your house to make it a first class ticket. And I say this: if there's somebody that really says, I want to be a professional one loft manager, I want to be one. This is the guy you contact right here, not me. You contact John and say, hey, listen, I'll come. I want to work with you for a year and you train me. And I'll tell you, if you listen and you just listen and watch, you're gonna see it right away. I seen it from the moment I met John. He was a different type of a pigeon man, professional, on. And John, I say it's so great. Wasn't at your place for shit since 2013, and I came this year. And you know what? I said to my sister, it's beautiful. The evolution. You put it into the race. You put it into
Yeah.
the race. You put this up, that up. You make it more and more. And guys, that's part of making something great is investing in yourself, in your product. And even what we're doing here, this is investing in the product, showing the people, and people getting a chance to know the loft manager. And I say, once you know this guy, John, I think next year probably gonna have 10,000 pigeons. Sorry.
I don't know. Like I said, it's I'm not here to BS anybody. I'm here just to tell you that it's not an easy course, and it is something that, I mean, uh, it keeps you. It can make you dumbfounded. Why? But it's also a course that, like you said, why are we flying this course? Because it's fair to everybody, and it's been like 40 years in the making. It's proven. I mean, we've had guys out of Canada dominate. We've had guys out of Florida do well. We've had guys out of Texas dominate. Or you get one out of every state, and that just shows it's a fair course. If you're going into a course where it's just, pretty much one-sided, that's a little different. Then that's not a fair course.
Yeah, and you do see it. You do see it on a lot of the. I think what's good about this is you get a mixture of speeds. You might get a crazy one fast one, but majority you're not going to have that. They're basically the same speeds as most guys flying the clubs and in the combines. Majority, and I think that's a big thing. Big
Well,
thing.
what's a big thing is, you start out with a percentage of pigeons, and you go 4 weeks later, and you'll be down 150. Slowly, 5 here, 10 there, 15 here, they will drop off. And, you know, it's just you're weeding out pigeons. Sometimes then there is bad luck where you get pigeons that, clip wires and stuff. But for the most part, the course will take them out.
Now, now, when you're loading these, so this morning here, you called me this morning. Shit, I don't know. It was around 10 o'clock, so it had to have been around 7 o'clock your time
Yes.
to load these birds. You've just started, so uh, it's not guys like what you think. How long is it taking you currently to load them? Because they're not good at it.
Well, we went from just over 3 hours to where we knocked it out today in like 2 hours and 45 minutes. I would say in another week and a half, well, hour and 15 minutes, we should be able to knock it out.
Right.
You know,
And that's just the repetition. And it is, people don't realize a lot of stress on them the first few times you load them, eh?
it's a lot of stress, but the pigeons have been going through the chute. So, like I mentioned before, I mean, I got a dinosaur system from, years ago. I had to modify and tweak it because that's what I did, Would I do it different? I mean, the Royal Cup, we load up faster. But the process that I still have still is still good in the sense that once the pigeons understand the whole process, it doesn't matter. They got to jump up 2 feet and they go in, or they go into the chute. And it's a good thing because if a bird has a bum wing or whatnot, I can see that. Sometimes if some of these guys that have chutes that are low to the ground, you don't see that. You have so many pigeons and you're moving them fast, and you want to get these birds loaded and go, and when it's flat to the ground, you don't see everything. But for me, with the California, the way my system is, I mean, they got to come off 2 feet off the ground and jump into the chute, and yeah, it's a process. But once they understand it, it's great. It's good.
Yeah, that's a very smart thing you said. Having it up off the ground, 2 feet, they got to go up. You see if a bird has a bum wing. Have you ever noticed, John, if you're training pigeons and you open the chute or open the basket, and everybody comes out, and there's one in the back, he don't want to come out, and you say, "Oh, I'm going to get the stick." He does everything, but he don't want to come out. I always found if pigeons don't want to come out, like, and everybody came out, you don't want to come out. There's something wrong.
Yeah, they tell
It,
you.
it it's a red flag. It's no, I'm not going out. I know what you want. Nope, I'm not doing it.
Yeah, the pigeons are intelligent. They tell you. I mean, um, even this year I've done something different where I just did it by chance. I make my mixes in the gazebo, and then I have a table outside, and I do it outside, and these pigeons follow me. I mean, they're sitting on the table, they're sitting on the railing, and like I'm just making my mixes, whatever I'm putting on the feed, and uh, yeah, it's the pigeons are amazing. They know.
Yeah, well, again, as we say, people people don't put the time into their pigeons too at home. I find that people like to dump the feed and walk away. I know. I remember talking to Patrick Bucks, and he said it so great. He says, "I laugh at people that scrape the loft. I laugh at them. They scrape the loft, scrape the boxes, scrape, scrape, scrape." Says the waste the whole time scraping. He says, just sit down and look at the pigeons for the amount of time it would take you to scrape. And you learn so much more. You spend time with the pigeons. Now, I know, hey, people like to scrape and clean and whatever, but people miss it, eh, John? They miss the bond, building the bond with the pigeons. And you know that table that you're talking about? We got to get a video of that, my friend.
Well, maybe we'll do that next
You
week.
probably got 2,000 pigeons on you.
No, no, well, that's a pain. That's a pain in the. I mean, I do say that I have a few pigeons when that door is open, right? Because I put my buckets once I make the mix, I put it back inside the gazebo, and there's always a few, man. They're knocking on the window trying to get in, or they're waiting for that door to open so they can fly in there and pick up some seed. And I'm standing right there, and it's I don't want them shitting inside the gazebo. Get out. And it's yeah, but it's that you're right, that's the bond, but it also lets me observe and see how these pigeons are, or sometimes there's a pigeon that has a fault, or there's a pigeon that I'm not one to go and look and know all these pigeons. I mean, that's a one loft race where you kind of have to just you're just observing, and but by doing this process, you're more observant on the flock. You whistle, you want them to go back up in the air. I lift the stick up, they go, and that's okay. That's what I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's a different game you're playing. You have to look at everything. I get it. When these birds here, so you load them, you take them, they go in their groups. You're not even a mile away or a mile, not even, whatever. Just a nice open spot here, close to the loft. When these birds come home, currently, what happens for them? Do they can they go right in? Are they wait till you get back? What's your thought on the returns?
For me right now, because we're nowhere. Even for the first 15, well, for the first 10, 15 miles, it's, those pigeons are home quick. So I just keep them locked out. I just let them wait for me. And that's one of the reasons why I'm not a big person to show all those tosses, because it means nothing. All I'm doing is educating the birds. All I'm doing is getting used to the whole system and more or less used to me when I want to call them in. Because those that don't listen and don't go in, they're not getting food. They have to respond. I want them to where those pigeons are in the sky and I whistle, they're down. And that's all part of the training. Um, you know, like I said before, you could do everything in this game. And if those pigeons on race day do not drop or do not clock when they're supposed to, you failed, because that's part of this game. And I mean, I've had people in the past, you know, other races where I go and the pigeon sits on the barn, and I mean, but those are the same guys that got the first comment to talk shit about other lofts, and I'm like, fuck, you don't know what you're doing, And shit happens on race day, it always does. But that's why you try to spend the time with the birds, and that's why I do what I do, is to try to make it challenging for them in the beginning, or uh, you know, uh, just keep them locked out. That's it.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. I like that you lock them out. And again, people think, well, oh, they should be able to go in and have a drink. Oh, they should be able to do this, go in and eat. The problem is, John's letting out birds here in an hour. Let's say he has to let all these birds out. Well, if the first birds come home and they go in and they're hungry, right? He's got them, go in. They go in, they pig out because he's got if he has feed there, they eat. Now everything's getting screwed up. I don't mind the locking them out till you get home. And I always say, I always like with pigeons, I call it family meal. Uh, I let them. Everybody's home. We eat. We eat together. I watch. I do what I'm doing. Now again, you have 2,000 pigeons. You can't sit with every pigeon. I know that, but you still make it. Everyone's home pretty much. Now we play. Now we feed, and everyone gets that
Yeah,
same amount, closer
that's
to the
right.
same amount than pigs.
What we'll do, once, now I'm talking about travel time within 10 minutes being home.
Hmm.
I can do this. But once I get out to, like, it takes me 30 minutes to go shit to give them a 15-mile, 10-mile toss. Then I do have one of my helpers call those pigeons in and just lock them up in their sections. And we just wait till I get home, because, yeah, I don't want the hawks to hit them when nobody's there. But on these short tosses right now, it's just fun and games, and that's what I want. I want the pigeons to have fun. You don't want that stress. You don't want them to, I want them to. Now's not the time that I'm calling on them to race. It's just right now. It's just an experience. That's it.
I agree. Kevin says, "Hey Ryan, I now know why you always have a cocktail. This sport's gonna start making me drink. LOL. Hey, you do whatever you have to do. Uh, like I always say, you really see it in Belgium. Pigeons and cocktails seem to go hand in hand. It's a social sport. Yeah, you know what? I don't worry. You'll have a drink for me, Kevin. Fabian says here, would you rather send one bird from 10 different pairs or several birds from your best pair when testing a family?
I mean, I could go either way. I've seen, it is cool if you got two pigeons out of the same nest, but there's always one that's better than the other. So that's why I prefer to go with one bird out of the nest. You know, that just depends on your hands, how good you are, and most of us are not that good. Because if it was, we'd only go with one bird to a race. But uh, you know, most of the time, there's always one pigeon that's better than the other, and that's what you go with.
Yeah. Pick what you can afford. I said I had a friend of mine, a very rich guy, and he said, I want to start winning and winning. And he spent a lot of money on pigeon and beautifulest loft. And I said, this is what I would do. Start with one race. To pick that race, put all your bullets in one. Start with one. Focus on one race, or focus on three races. Put 100 birds in each. Put go, go, go. And he started splitting everything up. 10 here, 10 there, 10 there. Oh, and he said, well, why? I said, just focus on one. Pick the good ones and focus on it. It's like, guys, you want a seriously good testing race. John's race is going to do that. You got two different races there, same property, same loss management. Over the course of time, it's a good, fair course with good discipline, good training, good prize money, great participants. That's a race. I have no problem saying, hey, I'm going to send 10 or 15 birds, 20 birds to this race. I'd rather send to one race than send five, 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 and guys don't train. Guys, I don't know what they're doing. Pick what you know what's going on. But one a pair, you're right, John. I don't think it matters a pair. Normally, there's only one good one in the nest, unless
And a
there's
lot
a
of time,
pair of hens.
and even then, and even then, sometimes we get caught off guard. We'll send the wrong one. It happens.
Hey,
That's the
John,
challenge.
have you ever noticed? I always like it when I get a pair of hens or a pair of cocks in the nest
Yeah.
from the same pair. That's normally when I see something good with both of them. When it's two, do you ever notice that?
Like I said, my feeling is always there's always one better than the next. But I mean, hey, it does happen. I mean, you're fortunate if you have those type of pigeons, those pairs, or that cock or that hen. You're very, very fortunate to have that in your loft where you're confident that that's going to come. But again, people don't realize that, you might have that in your 15, 10-man club, pigeon club, but you get into a one loft race. When good races have 350 to 500 breeders. It's a different game. And there's a lot of different factors involved. It's just like I said, one loft racing, the fast course, is it a fast course? Is it a difficult course? I mean, there's going to be all these variables as well. And that's where it's up to you as the breeder to do your homework on where you're sending.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, and it's so hard picking youngsters. You know what I mean? You're 100% right. And so many people don't realize the when they're picking, sometimes they leave the best ones at home. It's just that
Yeah,
simple.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, John, this week, continuing what? Just basically the same thing, same spot, right in that area, just
No,
slowly.
yeah, we're going to go one more time, and then we're going to move them up another mile, and then we'll continue there probably three times, and hopefully the weather is good, and then we'll start moving them out. But it's all baby steps for me for the first, like I said, for the first 3 weeks, easy. And some of that, I do that on purpose because I have still quite a few pigeons that have to catch up in the body mold. Um, but I'd rather have them doing something than nothing. So that's why I do what I do.
Yeah, hey, you got your plan, you're sticking to it. I think another great show. Tonight we've been on almost an hour and a half. I did want to, for people that are watching, I got to say this here before we wrap up. I wanted to make a post on this right here. We have a little thing that we're doing here at Feathers Elite, Chase the Ace. It's a four-race series. It's a fundraiser for the man you see on the screen, Marcel, the Professor Kurlemans. He had his loft burned down. Someone burnt the breeding loft down, and we are doing a small little fundraiser. It is a $125 entry. You get to pick four pigeons from our race team in Belgium, and you get to play. And the winner is going to win a Pigeon Boss tour, a $4,800 value to come on a tour in Belgium at our place and go and visit some of the top lofts. You're going to visit Marcel, and all the money is going to Marcel to help him rebuild his loft. All the nice guy. Being 77 years old, this is something that can cripple a guy, can put him into shock attack or whatever you call it. I don't know. So we wanted the Feathers Elite family to help Marcel out. We've had 18 teams sign up, which is great. I hope we can get to 30, 40, or 50. Again, it's going to a great cause. And I will be there when he puts it all together. So, guys, if you are watching and you want to participate, please private message us, email us, Feathers Elite, go on our website, sign up. If you can't figure out, let me know and I will help. But I just wanted to post that out there for Marcel. Um, yeah,
Well,
good show, John.
Put me down for four.
You want a team of four?
Yeah, put me down.
Oh,
I mean, I
thank you, John.
what I saw of the man. I mean, I don't know everything about him, but from what I've seen on some of these videos, I think he's a great person. He's a great, 77 years old and doing what he does, being involved, low key. Yeah, he's a good person.
Yeah, and he helps out people. And he's just a lot of good common sense to talk to about life, eh? Not even pigeons, but when you start talking pigeons with him, you really learn. And people, if you win this trip and you get to meet this gentleman, you're going to see what I mean, and you'll say, "Hey, I should have put 4 or 5 teams in." He's that kind of guy, and he said to us, he said, "No, I'm not poor or nothing. I don't want a charity. I don't want a charity." I said, "Come on, we're going to help you out. I mean, you went to bed, you woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and some bastard burned your loft down. We're going to help out." I think he's a bit embarrassed, but. uh, Yeah. Hey, we're gonna help out. I got to do it. I cannot help this guy. He's my friend, and it's just heartbreaking when you see all the pigeons. It's a small loft. What happens? And the worst part is the garden burnt down as well. Half the garden's
Yeah.
cooked. So you know what, John? We're gonna do this again. We'll get some more video footage for you guys next week. Good luck training. Keep going. Don't panic. If you get worried, have a drink. Kevin's gonna need one. Sorry to hear about Marcel. Hey guys, don't feel bad. Participate. I'm telling you, participate. It would don't ask for a lot. I'm asking for you guys to do this, so please help out. Fabian says, "Great show. Thank you for the time, guys." John makes it easy. He's a great pigeon man. Again, he's just like Marcel. He's a pigeon doctor, a pigeon whisperer. Maybe he's the professor in the United States. So he is the professor of one loft racing. Now, John, don't lose all those birds.
Yeah. Well, hey, and if it does, man, that's pigeon racing. But I don't. We do our
No, it
best
won't
not to
happen.
let that happen.
It won't happen. Great show. Thank you very much, John. And you're doing good. Keep it
Okay,
up,
but
guys.
put me down for a team of four.
I'll put you down for a
Marzelli.
team of. I'll put you down for
Yeah.
a team of 4. You have to go on and pick your birds, but you pick them, and we'll figure it all out
Okay.
from there.
All right.
And guys, we'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. We'll be on at the same time. That's John Timmerman. I'm Ryan from Feathers Elite. We hope you like One Loft Wednesdays. We hope you learned something. And if there's something that we've said that turns you off or whatever, don't worry about it. We're pigeon men. We're all assholes. But at the end of the day, we love this sport, and that's what makes it go around. So we all need each other. John, I will talk to you in a bit. Be safe and
All right.
enjoy your training.
Good luck. Thanks.
Good luck.
Bye.
Bye for now.